Hey guys, Chris from Flow Brackets. Today we're working on a Haval Jolion from the GWM. Now, these cars come with a big oversized box, so we're gonna replace that with our miniature version, and I'll show you how it works. Let's get into it. So what we've done is we've basically redesigned the factory mounting box that comes with the car and shrunk it down to the smallest we can while retaining the same holes that's on the car so they're not shown. So what we're gonna do, the first thing is take out the plates. All you're gonna do is take out all the factory screws and if the ones behind it, and the whole thing will drop out. Now they have the factory mounting box off, you can just go ahead and slide ours in its place. It fits exactly because we have accommodated for all the knobs and holes in the back of the car. And we'll give you upgraded screws for the stainless steel, which goes back into the factory holes, so there's no drilling required. Now it's time to choose the correct bracket to suit your number plate style. So what that means is, because our mounting solution is two parts, plinth to match the car and a bracket to suit your plate, you need to choose the correct mounting bracket to suit your number plate style so you can bolt it all onto the plinth. So for example, we'll be running slimlines. So I'll grab a slimline bracket. This attaches to the plinth and then my number plate will go on. If I'm running a different plate, say heritage, I'll have to grab that bracket so that hole's lined up with the bracket and this will bolt on to the car. Now let's talk about limitations. Because we're working with the factory holes that we can't change, if you have the ability to select this number plate that you have, it will be good to choose something that's wider than the plinth. Now, as for measurements, this is about 318 millimeters wide and about 95 millimeters tall, which means most slimline plates issued around Australia will cover it. If you're just a bit short, like say you're in New South Wales, which is about 87 millimeters tall, I believe, by the time you add a cover, it should cover it quite nicely. What you want to avoid, if you can, is small plates like these ones. These are only about 250 wide. So if you do decide to run a smaller plate, you will see the excess material on our miniature plinth, and you'll see the holes, which is fine, because it is covered with a black stainless steel bolt, but you will see excess material. Same with Philippe Lancia and a few others. So if you can, grab something that's wider, 5 or 6 characters wide if you can, to get that nice clean floating look. Now I've got a SL2 bracket. Now this is designed to fit our Victorian slimlines. All you're gonna do is take out the bolts, put this bracket on. I can align the mounting points, which are just 2 pairs of mounting points there. I can align it with any slot in the bracket. But in this case, I'm gonna mount it right in the middle, so it's center to the miniature plate. With the bracket on, I'm ready to fasten my number plate in the 4 corners. What I'm also gonna do is use a new kingpin cover. And what I'll also do is use our optional security screws. What that means is to remove and attach the plate, you will need our key, which adds a layer of security. So on the back of the Jolion, you have these 4 mounting points, which are very common on a lot of Chinese manufactured cars because that's how they mount their plate over there. But in Australia, when you're running slimlines, you have a lot of compromises, which I'll go through as much as the detail. The first one, let's talk about your number plate options. So if you're able to, you can start by choosing a full-size standard plate. These are a 372 by, I think, 134. They vary a little bit by state, but this is high enough to cover the bottom hole only by just, but you still will see the little pimples, the little bulges on the bottom of the plate. So the solution is not perfect. Even if you did get some sort of like backing plate or mounting bracket, you probably won't get all the fine adjustments to get to the exact height that you want. If you're dealt with slimline plates, you probably end up with something like this. You get like some sort of plastic adapter that goes on either the top 2 holes or the bottom 2 holes, which of course leaves you exposed holes, which no one likes. So what I have here is a custom made part. This is what we call a blanking plate. So this will overcome all the problems that I just mentioned, because this will bolt up straight to the car and cover everything, giving the cleanest look possible using the plates that you have. Let me explain. First thing we're gonna do, let's just take everything off the car and look at the holes behind it. With everything off the car, you can see the 4 mounting points are pretty clear. Again, they're very common on Chinese cars. As you can see, the holes don't line up. So what you're going to do is either buy some sort of adapter that goes about there, but you still see the little pimples on the top and bottom. Look, you could technically drill the plate, drill a hole where you wanted to and get it roughly where you want, but one, it will never be straight because drilling a hole by hand is not very accurate. And 2, it's technically illegal to drill holes because you're modifying the plate. So let's show you what our blanking plate does and what solution it solves. So this is our blanking plate. This is designed to be a straight bolt-on. It's going to be straight and covers everything. So all you got to do is line the 4 holes with the 4 holes on the car. It hides all the imperfections, all the pimples, and then you're able to bolt on your plate. In this case, it's a slimline plate. And it'll be perfectly center. We'll give you all the hardware to do so. And if you wanted to, you'll finish it off with a cover, which we're going to do. I'll show you how to get it done. I forgot to mention that this is actually not plastic. This is aluminium and it's been powder coated in black. So it definitely lasts the test of time and is incredibly strong. So it's definitely a premium product. Line up the holes. And of course, we'll give you bolts, and these are stainless steel and these are never going to rust on you either. So being a custom-made part aluminium, what we've done is we've machined 4 holes into the car, which is basically the holes that you would use to mount your number plate on for slimline. So that way it's exactly center. If you have a different size, then we will machine different hole positions to do different plates. So if you were to run, say, standards, we will machine the holes to suit. And if you were to run anything smaller, say that, we would also use those holes and remove others. So being a custom-made part, we can do whatever you want. But in this case, we're going to mount the same slimline plate that's on the front, followed by covers, and we'll also use the security screws for extra protection. So this is the rear blanking plate specific to the Jolion. Now, at the time of this filming, this is a custom-made part. We may decide to make it a off-the-shelf product, so just check online. But there will be different variations depending on what plates you have. And that's how you get rid of the big, oversized mounting box and you shrink it down to a nice, clean, floating look using a mounting system. Now, just remember, you do need 2 parts. You need a plinth to match the car and a bracket to match the number plate to complete the mounting. And also, because we're working with factory holes that we can't really move, try and get a plate that's a little bit longer. Just go back to the site. Okay. And that's how you get rid of the big factory mounting box and shrink it down to a nice floating look like this. Just remember, you do need 2 parts. 1 is a plinth to suit the car, and then 2, a bracket to suit number plate style to complete the look. Just remember, if you have the option to choose the plate, choose something that is wider than the plinth so you don't have excess material showing on the sides. So I hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching.